mind you, you're sitting in like this office that looks like a video game nerd's, dream, and you're dropping bombs on all these enemies who are trying to kill your allies, and then once your shift is over, like Russell Crowe was literally going to the grocery store shopping for his pregnant wife. Hey, what's going on, folks? Another episode of Ryan Reviews Everything, and we're talking about the surprise movie that hit Netflix just yesterday called Land of Bad. And it stars Liam Hemsworth and Russell Crowe. And before I get into it, this is one of those movies where, how can I say it? Have you ever you didn't see a trailer for it, you didn't hear anybody talk about any type of coming soon moments. You have no idea who's in the movie until you saw the poster. You just literally just go into a movie blind and you just see if you like it. That was literally my expectations or my experience with Land of Bad. All I saw on Netflix one day was just Land of Bad, and it had Liam Hemsworth holding a gun, and it also said it featured Russell Crowe as well. And I was like, okay, let's go. I'm all in. So for those who aren't familiar with this movie, the plot, it's about a U.S. Army Special Forces unit is ambushed during a mission to retrieve an intelligence asset, and their only remaining hope, it lies with a remote Air Force drone operator assisting them through a brutal 48-hour battle for survival. And that Air Force drone operator is played by Russell Crowe. His character in this movie, he just goes by the name Reaper. That's his operating name, or nickname, whatever you want to call it. And our main character, Liam Hemsworth, goes by Kenny, Kinney. So that's what it's about. And this movie is also directed by, what is his name? Oh, it's directed by William Eubank. And I'm not familiar with William Eubank. When I look at his resume or his catalog of movies, he's been in the movie game for quite a while, and I enjoyed this so much that actually, gives me some curiosity to go see what else he's done in the past. Outside of Underwater with Kristen Stewart, I'm not familiar with anything else that William Eubank has done. But Underwater was fire, as well as Land of Bad was fire. So I am inspired to see what else he's done in his past, or even see what else he has coming up. So that's what the movie's about. That's who directed it. If you've seen Underwater, you kind of get a sense of his style. But in terms of what I thought about this movie, I thought this movie was incredible. This is one of those action movies where, the plot is nothing too complex. It's literally a search and rescue mission for a captured soldier or intelligence asset or whatnot. The tone, or not tone, but the pace of this movie, I really enjoyed the pace. The pace was just right. It wasn't in your face action within the first 5 minutes or anything like that. It was a nice subtle build up, and then once the action hit. So I really liked the pace of it. Probably like the first 15-20 minutes of the movie, you really get a sense of the background of these characters and so forth. And then after that, it's like it's really go time. Although Liam Hemsworth should never be considered the quote unquote Chris's little brother, he definitely has a name for himself. He definitely can perform. He definitely did his thing in this movie. But with all that said, especially if you've seen him in Hunger Games and so forth. But with all that said, the person who stuck out to me the most is actually Russell Crowe. Played, once again, the Air Force drone operator. I really enjoyed this character the most throughout this movie. And of course, I know probably peak Russell Crowe is probably what? Gladiator. He hasn't been in anything as frequent anymore. I think the last movie that I've seen him in outside of this, Land of Bad, was the name escapes me, but you all remember it. It came out a few years ago, some type of road rage movie. It was definitely a wild ride, no pun intended. But I did like his performance in that as well, as just some unhinged road rage guy. But my point is this: despite maybe like the lack of consistency in what you may see Russell Crowe in, when you do see him, he still delivers that performance. So he's still amazing, and I thought that was just great. The reason why I liked his role, he's definitely like this guy who's been around the block more than a few times in terms of his military career. And he kind of carries himself as this jaded old school military guy who should be like a high ranking colonel, maybe a 1-star general at this point, but he may have not made the best career decisions throughout his military career, and he's not as high as he should be. He's like been married and divorced like 3 times. He's married to his 4th wife with a kid on the way. It's like, Reaper is all over the place in terms of his personal life and his career. In terms of Kenny, played by Liam Hemsworth, I like his character as well, obviously, but he's more so of the young, pretty boy. I really rely on technology more so than some hand-to-hand shoot 'em up type action. And that's another thing. This movie is a delightful watch if you're just into some hand-to-hand shoot 'em up, shootout, military style action. Once again, not a slow start, just a nice pace. But once it starts, it really gets you there. And yeah, I think another thing that I thought was so amazing about this movie, it really puts emphasis on the fact how technology in wartime has really just evolved. For example, you got Russell Crowe. He's this Air Force drone operator helping out Liam Hemsworth and his team get out of sticky situations. And so, mind you, you're sitting in like this office that looks like a video game nerd's dream, and you're dropping bombs on all these enemies who are trying to kill your allies. And then once your shift is over, like Russell Crowe was literally going to the grocery store shopping for his pregnant wife. And it's just that type of, huge contrast I thought was an interesting and amazing perspective. It's like, yeah, I just killed about 50 people, but you know what? My wife has a weird craving for pickles and applesauce, so I got to go to the grocery store after I just bodied about 50 insurgents. So stuff like that was also pretty dope to see. And the action, once again, this is a spoiler-free review, but the action towards the end definitely leaves you on your edge of your seat. In addition to that, it also evokes some emotion. I know me personally, I felt annoyed. I felt mad at certain characters just because of the type of negligence and just incompetence they had with their position of being like the communication team for dire life and death situations for soldiers in need. So that might have given away too much already, but definitely a great watch, especially if you're not familiar with a lot of background info when it comes to this movie, Land of Bad. But also definitely an awesome watch. Highly recommend anyone check it out. If you've seen it, let me know if you liked it. I noticed on IMDb, I think it got like a rating of, or Rotten Tomatoes, I think it got a rating of like 65%, which I feel like is a little low for this movie. So you may not necessarily want to go on that. Just go with your gut, especially if you have no idea what Land of Bad is about outside of this review. So love it or hate it, folks. That's my review. Peace.